In the count. The swing arm now coming back as our countdown continues.
Good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you're at. Actually, both my guests today and myself both live on the West Coast. We are both in California. What's up? Today we've got Mikey from Eternian Royalty. What's going on, man?
What's up?
I should say Eternian Royalty and MOTUNIVERSE, but we'll get to that.
Well, yeah, we'll get to there for sure.
You've got some projects going on that I think are super exciting, as well as a couple of other things that you're doing within the Masters of the Universe community, which I love. So first off, I want to say to everybody, if you're like chatting, be like, hey, what's up, Rick? What's up? But I'm actually not doing this live. At this point, at 3:45, I'll probably be in the sky just about landing back here because I am going to be heading down to the Southern California area, closer to you, sir, this weekend. Yeah. And so we're doing this pre-recorded. And so just, I'm not here. So thank you for watching at the usual 3:45 time slot. But I just want to make that apparent. So that aside, dude, what's up? First off, I can't believe this is the first time that you've been on the channel. So that's on me.
I know, right?
So welcome.
Thank you for having me. That's
exciting. For sure, man.
That was an amazing intro, by the way. I've always admired your intro, the very MTV nostalgic MTV News feel to it. I like that.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I've commented on this before, but I feel like more and more people have no idea what that is. Like they have no idea what that reference is. You know what I mean? Like some people are like, oh, right. Cool. But then I know who like, okay, we are of a generation, dude. We're totally of a generation. So, okay. We're talking to Eternian Royalty today. And I got to say, I don't know if you remember this, but I have a pair of socks that I won from you.
Are you a part of the sock crew?
Yeah, up on Instagram Live, and now I'm regretting that I don't have them on there. They're pink Skeletor socks. They're awesome.
Nice. All right.
So,
nice.
That was a long time ago. So
yeah, I've been at least 2 years ago. I want to say I did that.
Yes, and yeah, man, it feels like it's almost like a different time and landscape, both in terms of the fandom of Masters of the Universe and sort of like where we've come, because like that was, Masterverse was just sort of starting out. Revelation, I think, had come out, and we were still waiting on Revolution, and we're still kind of dealing with the reactions to Revelation and all of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
All seems super quaint compared to fast forward a couple of years, and now as you and a lot of your like MOTU buddies and cohorts on Instagram and on YouTube have been like, totally celebrating. You're doing new shows, and as we both kind of teased, you're working on like a real life IRL kind of MOTU show celebration. Yeah.
Having the movie coming out next year.
Yep.
It basically came down to what better time to bring a convention back to California.
Mm-hmm.
So we really kind of brought a bunch of people together and said, hey, what do we think about this? I've literally received so much support from everyone. And they're like, we love it. We love it. We love it. Of course, funds are the big issue with this.
Yeah.
I don't have crazy funds to go. So we are probably going to be looking at the Kickstarter route for this.
Okay.
And we're looking at Southern California, greater LA area, possibly Orange County. And we're looking at, we're narrowing it down to venues. We got a couple venues and dates, I would say, kind of narrowing in on the April, May. We want to try to be ahead of the movie. That way we can celebrate before all the craziness of the movie. And then once the movie comes out, I want to make this hopefully a yearly thing, and we'll continue to celebrate as we go and go and go.
That's amazing. And so I really do want to spend a lot more time kind of teasing out the history and the thinking. You kind of laid it out there. We have the big picture of what you're thinking is going to happen. But maybe before we, no, let's go ahead and jump in. So let me bring up those visuals, because I do think it's just really exciting. Like as you said, like people probably just responded and were like, "Whoa, yeah, let's do it." So let's go back a little bit. Let's see, add to stage, and look, there it is. All right.
There you go.
Okay, so this was a couple of weeks back, 2 weeks ago, it's saying, but actually there were kind of rumblings, and I remember seeing you and Jay kind of teasing things, and you kind of were like, I've got this real big thing. And then it was on Toy Habits, I think, that you all kind of jumped on, and
correct.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So first we were on with Badass Toy Reviews, Carlos and his folks.
Okay.
And then we hopped on, I literally like the next day, we hopped on with Toy Habits.
Okay, so let's go back to that. Sorry, let me go ahead and bring up the Carlos one just as a visual. But when you were there, did he know that you were going to bring that up, or like, has that something you were talking about and he was like, "Hey, can you come on and let's actually talk about it?" Or did you kind of break it to him during the show, or how did that all work?
That is a good question. I don't know if Jay maybe have mentioned it to him. I don't know. He acted surprised, so maybe it could have been all for play. It could have been. I didn't mention anything to him, so maybe Jay did. Jay invited me on to join them to talk about it, so I don't know if it was pre-discussed why I was coming on or not.
Okay. And I think that was the one that I did. That's where I first saw it. And so it did seem like, okay, we've got something to say. And it was kind of a big announcement. I was like, whoa. And that's the first I'd heard of it. And my ears totally perked up. I was like, that 100% makes sense during this time. And I'm multitasking and scrolling back to when that would have been.
I mean, I can give you a little backstory while you're looking for that.
Yeah, go for it. And that was live, right?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So, I attended PowerCon, which was the MOTU convention. It was literally the only MOTU convention, and it took place in Southern California from 2011 until 2021. So about, they didn't have it for COVID, but basically 10 years for the most part. And I loved that convention. That convention was better than San Diego Comic-Con, and I live in San Diego I live in San Diego. So it had that intimate feel. It had, you were surrounded by everyone there for the one fandom that you love.
Right.
And when PowerCon ended up moving to Ohio, I got crazy FOMO. And so I went on Kickstarter, just crazy night. I wasn't drinking or anything, but I was like, I had all these ideas in my head and I had to get them out. So I went on Kickstarter and I just started plugging away things that I would have loved to see in a con. And I got to the point where I was able to submit it. And then Kickstarter's like, we like the idea, but it's a little too bare bones.
Okay.
Come back with,
that's right.
So, venue was a big one.
This story.
Dates were a big one. And that's why we're kind of holding off right now, is we want to secure that stuff first. And so I shared that with Jay. And then mind you, that was 2022, somewhere around there. I shared that story with Jay.
It's been a while.
A few months before Comic-Con this year. And he, it was just a conversation. And then, there you go.
Yeah.
It's me talking about it.
I know. Sorry. It's a little awkward. You're like, oh, that's me talking. But yes, go ahead.
And so probably about, the time frame exactly, I want to say it was about a month, maybe a month and a half before Comic-Con. Mega J reached back out and he said, "Hey, remember that convention you were talking about? What if I said we can make that happen?" And I'm like, okay. I'm listening. And he says, "I have convention experience And I think that there's a need for a convention in California again. And I said, 100% there is. And so he said, hey, let's team up on this. Let's partner up.
Mm-hmm.
Let's try to build a team. We'll have the community help us. We'll come up with fundraising ideas. We can come up with, different fun things for people to do, different guests. And that's kind of where we're at in the process is a lot of brainstorming right now.
Yeah, and you've been calling meetings, and seen those meetings happen.
The past 2 weeks, we've had meetings.
Yep.
Yep.
And so, was it just a broad, open call like this original post of like, "Hey, if you're interested," and you just kind of put people together? Was it like,
no, we
know certain people?
We tapped on people that we knew were very creative and have connections kind of within, former PowerCon employees and volunteers, people that lived they like live in Southern California, but once the con moved, they just stopped doing stuff for conventions.
Sure.
So we have some of those folks, some artists. We have great artists. We have vendors that used to vendor at PowerCon as well as San Diego Comic Con, as well as most of the larger cons around the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And just people that, had connections with people. We have someone that's friends with Rebecca Taylor. We have, who's Mark Taylor's wife, for those that don't know.
Yeah.
One of the creators of MOTU. We have people that are friends with the artists that are currently working on the artwork on the boxes. So like Axel Jimenez and Fetch, I'm forgetting his last name, but some really amazing people. If we can get them to show up at our convention, would be really, really amazing. Kenzo,
that's cool. Yeah, no, let's go, Mike. But sorry, I had that still on there for a reason. So like, I see you're breaking down. This is when you're kind of like announcing the news. Folks can't really hear the audio, but I love like, yeah, I love it. Like, it's so perfect. It's just like, yeah, we have the power kind of a thing. And clearly the joy was there from him, as well as I think in general, once people really start to see that this thing is coming together. I'm not talking about the people that you call and organize, but like once it becomes a thing and you're going to reach out to this sort of broader Masters of the Universe audience. And as you've said, it was in the LA area for so long that there were those folks who went to it and know that it's gone. So once they sort of hear oh wait, there's this other thing happening, I think it's going to be really, really great. So I'm excited. This I remember this like 3 weeks ago. I got a little confused because I was looking through it. It's like, wait, that's way more people. But you guys kind of, other folks circled. I think John Mejia was on here, and then they kind of went off, and then you came on, and then you made this announcement, and I was like, wow, that was a packed Toy Addicts Anonymous episode.
They were calling it a party that night.
That's right, because they'd also hit a big milestone. And then so here we are, time for a convention. And then you all, this is sort of Jay's on his channel, kind of like clip of a longer stream that you all did on Toy Habits, breaking it down. So obviously Toy Habits for I'm sure everybody here knows, but both Michael and Toy Sorcerers have been here before, and they're huge Masters of the Universe heads. Their website is such a great resource, and their Instagram such a great resource for Masters of the Universe news. So it seems like a perfect fit for you all to go over there. And
they're definitely a part of the team. Toy Sorceress lives in the LA area, so she has very well-versed knowledge of just the hotels and venues that were in the area. We were kind of having her send out suggestions of what would be a good venue. Michael of Toy Habits, he's actually a researcher during the day, so he was helping us in like analyzing data, that stuff that I didn't, it's kind of above my head. I'm not a researcher during the day, so he was telling us like, hey, I'll put some polls up and we'll see what kind of reaction we get, and throwing like, oh well, we got 50% of people, but you got to factor in that's all of the United States talking about that.
We're sorry, 50% of people saying what?
We're saying yes, they definitely will go.
Will go. Got it.
Will go. Like they would buy a ticket.
Yep. That's awesome.
Now,
that's really awesome.
is I put a poll on my Instagram, and we had AJ from He-Mania.com put a poll on his, and it was closer to like 75-80%. Now, of course, we're very MOTU-centric places, right? As opposed to Toy Habits covers everything. So that's also why I saw maybe it being a little lower with them.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to say. And let me like shout out to He-Mania, formerly for Eternian. I love AJ and I love his content. Just fantastic content and clearly super thoughtful about the brand. I've loved especially the way he's sort of handled and talked about things like Revelation and the comic books, and talked with the creators. And there's always like a thoughtfulness about it, and like a real deep love for the brand. So shout out to AJ and the new now He-Mania.com, which is actually a pretty cool name too, because I know I'm on that thread with you all, and part of it was
what's the proposed that as the name of the con, right?
yeah. So on that note, so you've assembled, and it's actually we'd be remiss if we didn't mention some of the other folks. So who are the other sort of key players so far that are plugged in? And I know I don't want to put you in a position of like forgetting folks, so it's not that there's not an exhaustive list, but I do know that there are a couple of core folks that you work with like pretty regularly that we should maybe.
So pretty much the main ones will be Mega J Retro and I. We're kind of leading the way. We have Billy Thunder Punch He-Man. He's been very vocal and supplying ideas. Tom Breisky, who's an artist and a vendor. He's
nice,
amazing resource. Found contacts for the movie actors and like their agents and stuff, and who we can reach out to if we want to try to get people from the movie, which would be amazing. Who else we got? We got a gentleman named Micah who used to be PowerCon's right-hand man. Like he's
cool,
done some amazing stuff. A gentleman named Derek, actually, he lives in Southern California, right near the Disneyland area. Joined me in a couple venues to look around that area.
Very cool.
We have Toy Sorceress and Michael of Toy Habits.
Sure.
We just recently added the gentleman Nick from the Secret Compartment show. He's also done work on the Toys That Made Us. So he's barely well versed in, the TV kind of stuff, has connections. We have Shane from Powerhouse Entertainment. He did work on the Revelation and Revolution show. He's also a part of a podcast that I do. And I mean, the list goes on. We got Carlos in there. JP from Thundercats Classics. Even though he's a big Thundercats fan, he loves MOTU as well. And he's been gung-ho about this. And I'm sure I'm missing others.
Battle Ram blog?
Well, Battle Ram, Adam from Battle Ram blog. He's in there.
Yep.
Actually, all the gentlemen, Oz and Skelly from the Frenzy, they're in there. Skelevator's been posting some amazing mock-up of our. So the name of the con is MOTUNIVERSE. I don't know if I mentioned that.
Yeah, we did. We did
doing some amazing logo stuff, and we're still trying to settle in on what we want the logo to look like. But
sure,
we've been getting amazing suggestions from everybody.
So even that was a process, and kind of witnessing that both on it was on a couple of streams where people were just throwing out ideas, and then in the thread. And it's cool. It's just cool to see the different takes. And at the end of the day, whatever the name is, of course, it's going to be, like you said, it's a return of a Masters of the Universe focused, or I don't know. Yeah, it's focused, and at the center, at the core, right, is going to be Masters of the Universe convention. Of course, you're going to have other folks there as well, but that's going to be the core, the reason that people will go there, and there will be
the majority of the guests.
That'll be what it's about, so that people, if they're into it, they go there, boom. And I love that you're naming we've got folks involved in the recent cartoons, the legacy stuff, the shows, the movie connections, because Masters of the Universe really isn't just the newest current stuff. It isn't just the vintage. It isn't just classics. It's actually all of those things, right? And so it's interesting to me because watching this sort of like newer version, I guess, if we could call the Return of Origins and everything after that as sort of like the current, like what's live right now, grow. It's been an interesting thing because it's like, in some ways there was this, and still is, like a fracture a little bit because, I get it. People have their different tastes or whatever, but what seems like marked by the current era, not just of Masters of the Universe, but of, anything, Star Wars, G.I. Joe, whatever, is that there tends to be this phenomenon of people being real entrenched in their thing and being like, this is the best one.
Right.
And like, I know that we're nerds, so we're very passionate. And I know how you roll, and I know how, For Eternia rolls and Battle Ram blog. Like you all have, and we all have our preferences, fair enough. But at the core is we love this thing called Masters of the Universe.
Yes.
And so that's what is fascinating to me is like, I would love to see more of this celebration of everything and have truly a space where people can come together and hopefully like their internet, armchair bravery behind their cameras or whatever, keyboards, can just be put aside for a second and just be like, we can remember, hey, we all love this thing, regardless of the form, actually. Because I'm old enough to have seen all of it from the beginning. And man, even as a kid, was I disappointed when I went in the 80s to the movie theater to go watch the Canon Films version of He-Man and go like, oh, this is totally different. But honestly, like, yeah, I was kind of like, oh, I was hoping they'd have this character or whatever. But I was like, holy crap, his armor looks dope. Like this is, from the beginning, that whole laser battle on Eternia, I was like, this is rad. Like the little dude, like, man, I grew up on Billy Barty's work in everything, in of course, like Star Wars stuff and stuff with Terry Gilliam, and I was just like, oh my god, this person's a key character in Masters of the Universe on screen and He-Man on screen, and there's all this makeup and like there's like legit like the Skeletor's troopers, like that had no basis in anything that I knew before,
right?
But did they look like
I was
cool like, Darth Vaders with guns?
But they're black? What? This is weird.
But yeah, it was weird, but it was also like cool because for me, I'm a fan of like the genre. I'm a fan of, sci-fi, fantasy. Like I've watched a lot of bad movies, but still had fun with them. Like I've watched all those sword and sandal movies of the 80s, and they're not great films, but I enjoy them. So it's like, okay, motion, like I definitely feel like I loved it way more than a lot of people at the time, just because I'll be honest with you, I'm not a huge fan of Filmation, even as a kid. But like, I wasn't like, I wasn't hating on Filmation as a kid. I still watched it. I was like, oh, that's cool. And was like, oh, that episode's rad. That character's rad. Oh, does he really have to laugh like that? But like, whatever, it didn't matter. And same with She-Ra. And so I want to get to that place again, man, where you're doing a convention, people are there and they're like, you like this movie? Hey, check these people out. They worked on it. You like the art from it? These people are there. And that's to me, I really hope that fandoms in general get this.
There's so many different lores that brought people into it that if it's hard to be narrow-minded. If you're a fan of the property, you have to just accept that, you had mini comics, you had Filmation, you have the movie, you have 2000X, like,
and beyond that, I was like, they don't have to necessarily like it, right? The idea of having to accept it, like I could see them like, I don't have to. It's like, okay, that's fine. But at the end of the day, I guess where I was going with that is, who would have thought that in 2025 we'd be on the verge of a new movie? We'd be on the verge of a new convention. We'd be able to watch all sorts of content at any time of the day on YouTube of people talking about it, celebrating it, talking about the multiple lines at stores, and now like more high-end like collector stuff that you can't find at a Target, and they all exist together. the 5.5 inch, the 112 or 110 or whatever Masterverse is. Same goes for the quotation. Same goes for Mondo. 1/6 Mondo, and some, in my opinion, some of the most amazing versions of these characters I've ever seen realized in plastic.
Right.
And so I don't get the hate, because at the end of the day, all of it has built up to this moment, and we're in a moment where we are getting new stuff. So anyway, I wanted to reflect that, because that's how I feel about a lot of IP in general, even the ones I don't really care so much about. It's interesting, the kind of like infighting. I don't think people realize like that actually works against us if we like this thing.
100%.
So weird.
When they came out with that CGI, I was like, what is this? But I took the time. I literally watched all of it.
Yep.
And I said, you know what? If I had a kid that was that age, perfect to watch it, I would have sat and watched it with them. It encompassed the Masters of the Universe kind of moral story. You know, it had that.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. It had the feel of Masters of the Universe, and it was completely different from whatever we had seen before from Masters of the Universe at the same time. So it was really cool to see a new vision of it. And do I collect the toys or anything? No, but you know, it was fun. It was cool to see.
And even if you were like, nah, I wouldn't show this to my kid, that's totally fine. But then to go on and say this is horrible and we should end it and we should try and sabotage it is weird, because hey, like if you haven't quite figured it out, folks, whatever version you're seeing right now isn't going to be the last version.
Right.
Like
the Filmation version still exists. The 87
and that too.
Still there.
Your old versions aren't going away. But what I'm saying is, if you don't like this current one, just wait a little bit, because a new thing will be around the corner. Like you said, we're going to do a movie anyway. Like,
and
I think it's great.
A prequel animated show they were discussing too. So
it's
and
like
a video game, all kinds of craziness.
What world do we live in, right? Like that's the thing. Like none of us could have seen that, and I'm happy we're in it. And I'm happy that you, Michael, Lily, Toy Sorceress, Carlos, all the folks, Mega J, Adam, like you're making this happen, because I think it's actually a good step in the right direction to bring people together. And I love your framing of just like, no, it's a celebration of Masters of the Universe, and that means a lot of things to a lot of different people.
Yes.
And we should bring those people together. So shout out to you. Southern California is the target. Let's do some quick specifics on, is there I know it's within 2026. Do you have kind of a time of the year you're hoping that it works out?
So we're going in on end of April, actually mid-May. So we want to be.
Oh, that's right. The movie release. That's
we want to be before the movie.
What's the movie release date?
Is June 5th.
Okay. Got it.
So we want to be before the movie, and we want to stay away from, Easter and Mother's Day holidays. So it narrows it down to a few different weekends that would work. Memorial Day weekend, we actually are kind of open to. A lot of the venues are giving us discounted rates for that, which we were like, oh, okay.
Because they're kind of a little bit more dead seasons. Yeah. Well, let me ask you this then. So where would the sort of crowdfunding or sort of fundraising element kick in? Are you thinking that's like, because we're in September
hopefully
now,
the next couple of weeks is my hope.
Got it.
I want to get because as soon as we can get the Kickstarter going to secure the full, keep hitting my desk, secure the full venue, and then we can start saying to vendors, we have a venue,
that makes sense.
We have the date. Would you like to attend? And we can get guests, and then it just it'll just blow up from there. So the more time we have to do that, the better I'll feel about it. I've had people tell Mega J and I that we're crazy to try to pull off a con in 9 months.
It is quick.
They're like I usually give myself 3 years. I'm like, well, we'll miss the target if we wait 3 years, unless they do a sequel, right, for the movie.
Right.
But we want to be ahead of the movie. And
I think the other piece is its scale, right? At the end of the day, if it's a smaller convention or whatever, it's not a bad thing, but you're starting. So that's cool. Okay. So
it'll definitely be small to start. We're not trying to like roll out with a WonderCon, Comic Con kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
It's going to be that those early days of PowerCon.
Yep.
I would hope to get, I don't know, 500 people to 800 people, maybe more.
Okay. Yep.
That would be a nice start. And obviously we want to have it being a 2-day event. People can spend the night in the hotel, get to know friends, make new friends.
Sure. Yeah.
And just, again, party all night with people that you normally just see on the internet, right? Like I met all these people through Instagram that loved Masters Universe. And when I'd go to PowerCon, it was like getting to hang out with friends that you feel like you've known forever, but then you're really only meeting them for the first time in person.
Yep. That's it. That's how it was for
fun.
me.
Yeah.
At Legions Con last year and a little bit at WonderCon this year. And again, in a couple months, Legions Con once again. So I would love to add MOTUNIVERSE next year to this. So let's do it. I definitely want to help in whatever capacity I can. I've been a little bit quiet there because clearly like things are humming and you guys meet usually when I'm doing the show. So, but I'll figure out ways that I can contribute, obviously, by trying to get people aware of it and going and beyond that. So
I talked to Jay about trying to change meeting dates to, because I know not Sunday night doesn't always work for everybody. So
sure.
There'll be some weeks where we meet maybe on a Friday or Saturday instead.
And at this point, are you actively looking for other people to kind of help? I know maybe this might be some people hearing about it for the first time, or would you rather wait for the Kickstarter?
Yeah. So we're always open to bringing people on board. Am I actively looking? No. But if someone, we had one of the folks in there say, hey, it was a PowerCon employee, say, hey, this guy also worked for PowerCon. Are you cool if I bring him into the group? And he's got a lot of con experience. I'm like, of course. Like I would love to hear insight from anyone that has previous convention experience that would be able to just add insight.
That's great. I love that, man. All right. Well, let's shift there and let's talk a little bit about the other things that you've got going on. So you obviously are Eternian royalty. That's funny. You are Eternian royalty. Great choice. But you've been doing stuff on IG for a while. I know you've done YouTube stuff relatively recently, right? Or has that been existing that hasn't existed as long as the IG?
YouTube, a couple years, but I'll make videos. So I go to San Diego Comic Con.
Yeah.
And I do some videos for Comic Con, and I'm like, this is the year I'm going to make my YouTube and start doing all these lives. I'd love to have a show like this as well. Yeah. And I don't know. It goes dead in the water.
And time, and it's a lot, but you do plenty. So aside from that, your presence on this show now, over on He-Mania, again, formerly for Eternia, called the Eternia 4. And can you tell us a little bit about the format? I love this.
Yeah. So AJ of He-Mania reached out to me probably we on like how many episodes now? 4. So about 4 or 5 months ago, reached out and said, hey, I want to put a podcast together. I would love to kind of discuss as we lead up to the movie. We'll have topics about casting. We'll have topics about, and if there's no movie news, we can come up with some other fun stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
I was like, of course, like I can talk about Masters Universe for hours upon hours, right? Totally. Yeah, definitely. So he wouldn't tell me who the others were. He said he was building a team, and I was like, honestly, it doesn't matter. I'm in, man. I'm in.
Yeah, that's cool.
But when he told me that it's going to be him, Mega J Retro, and Shane of Powerhouse Entertainment, that kind of blew my mind because, I mean, Mega J, he's a very humble guy, but we all know he's a very much a cornerstone of the toy tube community. Amazing guy. That's why I partnered with him on this convention. He's an amazing guy. And Shane, super talented, super funny. And the fact that he got to work on Revolution and Revelation, I don't know, it's amazing. And then AJ, again, you said the passion. I definitely see the passion from him as well. I mean, the guy runs this website. He actually told me, that he wants to keep it very much as little ads as possible on the website so the viewer can enjoy watching through. And
I appreciate
if I lose some money that way, I lose money. I just want people to enjoy the Masters Universe. And it's just amazing. So working with those three guys and being able to talk Masters Universe, it's definitely a treat. We always started off talking about the movie and what do we think about the casting. And then we just actually filmed the episode that will be coming out for September yesterday, where we got to do some fun fan cast because there wasn't much movie talk going on right now. So we were saying, okay, well, if we could go back in time and we're the casting director, who would we have casted? And yeah, so it's a great time. Every episode, except I want to say it was the July episode, went crazy long. Jay's a little long-winded. I'm sure you're all familiar with that.
Straight named it. Yes, I love you, Mega J, but you're mega verbose. For sure.
We went for almost over 2 hours on that episode.
That's where when I was telling you prior to starting, I was like, oh, I really love this idea, and I had this notion. And really, just to throw out there, you might want to give yourselves time limits. Be like 4 hosts. Because we haven't talked about the format. There are 4 hosts. They have 4 topics, and then they do round robin. Each person gets their time to speak.
Yep.
Maybe 4 minutes or less. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
We should definitely time ourselves.
Go time.
The last episode we just did came in at about
Sorry, Jay. We love you. It's all love, bro.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. An extra hour and a half or an extra hour almost of Jay just talking. We're like, geez, okay, Jay. But again, the passion's there. It's not like it's just a bunch of hoo-la. It's him being very passionate about the topics, which it's great to hear.
Yeah. So it's great. You are the Eternia for really like breaking down things. And even some of it's just fun conversation. Like you said, fan casting, this, always fun. So check it out. And so I guess the hosting rotates as well is kind of how it works, right?
Correct. Yeah. So every episode, I think the first episode was Jay.
Yeah.
Second first was AJ. Second was Jay. Third Shane. Then me. And then now I think we've kind of come full circle where it's AJ led the way again.
Love it. So it's every month. Look out for it. But there is this playlist. And, just like all the other shows, if you're wondering what that thing scrolling on the bottom or that QR code is, if you go there is a document that has links to all this stuff. Just like AJ, I don't know, like there's no ads or anything. It's literally just a Google Doc. And I'm just doing it so that 1, I can get access to all this stuff, and 2, that I can send folks. I'm a visual guy. So it's like, I want people to go there, follow this stuff, go follow the channels and the Instagram. So there you go. Love that. Every month. Look out for the next episode. They just filmed it, and it should be dropping when?
Probably in a week or 2. He goes through and he adds, obviously, graphics and such like that. So it takes him a little bit of time. He does really great editing with it too, if you watch it on YouTube. But it is available also on Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere you have podcasts. You can just listen to it while you're driving in some afternoon commute. But I always enjoy watching him on YouTube because then you get all the graphics and everything.
And again, just because we're here, and I really should have him on the show too. Fantastic content. Like he's like his conversations with folks is so fantastic. I love he talks with different creators, people involved with stuff, fans, him and Dad at Arms too, like 2 channels that I just really love. So shout out to them for their MOTU content. So let's shift a little bit. As you pointed out, 2026 is on fire. This is like we're getting Masters Universe movies. Human.org is back. Granted, not everything's there that they used to be, but it was a sad. It was a sad day when that shut down because of just its legacy. But it's back, and hopefully that can be a nice convening point for people on the internet. It'd be great if we could somehow get everybody who was active in there before back on, but
I know,
you
right?
know, it's just like, hey, where's everybody? Come back.
I was gonna say, I think from what they said is those are all those usernames and everything is just gone.
I'm sure gone. Yeah. But you know, like, I mean, that's where I remember like getting to interact with real vaguely, like, and just sort of see like Nate and a bunch of other like creators that I ended up realizing like, oh, that was you. Yeah, that's right. Duh. Like, or, you know, or even like Matt Rodriguez and, you know, so it was a cool community. I love that that it's back, and 2026 is a hot year. Let's talk a little bit about like how hot we're talking, because, and I do tend to, so I'm not at all an Origins hater. I've got a bunch of Origins, but I tend to talk a little bit more about what we kind of call 112, right? And I put it in quotes. So I won't even really talk about the 1/6 He-Man stuff either, even though I think it's, again, I said this before, I think it's some of the best versions of those characters. I just admire it from afar.
They look amazing. So they had the 1/12 scale up at San Diego Comic-Con, and they look like mini statues, like that clawful that they have posted right there.
Yep.
I mean, like, wait, that thing's articulated and can move? What? It's mind-blowing.
I love it because there definitely are, of course, channeling the designs that came out of 2000X and the stuff that the Four Horsemen worked on, but it's Mondo. So when Mondo, for example, did their 1/6, that was very much their take on it, and they always kind of work in more classic stuff, but with like Mondo ideas, and they're doing the same thing with 2000X. And like, who would have thought that, you know, you could take, of course, the Four Horsemen's work even further, and you can always do that with any sort of great thing, but we just forget that because we love the thing so much. But man, I love what they're doing. I do see that. Like, I love what they're doing with sculpts. I got to see the prototype of He-Man at WonderCon.
Okay,
so it's real early. That was the first time they were revealing it, and I got to talk to the folks at Mondo, and you know, he's just like, yeah, man, I was up like just right before the show putting this thing together. I barely sprayed that fur gray, and you know, they didn't have the fur there, I want to say early on in the show either, than they put it on, but it looked great then. And now to sort of see these things in their versions as they showed them in SDCC, man, they were great, and they were able to show it at their booth, and like all of this stuff looks fantastic because they also revealed prototypes for sort of the next wave. I think this thing is going to be great. I, like many people, wonder how much it's going to cost. And I think we're about to find out, as like sort of like, you know, the folks from Toy Habits are saying like pre-orders are coming soon, because they had actually posted, oops, I don't have the teaser here, I don't think. No, but Mondo had posted like a teaser shot of the store.
Yeah, it's the two photos behind. That's a weird looking shot. Clawful's claw is actually not that large. That's the teaser.
These
photo
right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
claw and the sword were the teaser photos there.
So it's sort of like, oh, you know, it's an interesting time. I'm excited. I really do want these. I have to also deal with the reality that these could be really, really pricey 112 figures.
I definitely want to pick up that He-Man. As much as I love that Clawful, I'm afraid of the price point, and it's kind of a bummer right now with that con going on. I'm kind of trying to keep everything MOTU focused is going to go into that. So my collecting is going to probably slow down a bit. It's a commitment.
Yeah.
And there's a lot coming out right now, which is crazy. The last purchase I made was Snake Lair, and that was a heavy hitter. I mean, that was $300 something after taxes.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, that's going to be my last hurrah until after this convention.
And it's not even worth speculating, because we're probably going to find out in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
But the reality is I do pay for pretty expensive figures. So, you know, like, so it's not out of the realm of possibility of coming to terms with the reality that if I want a certain quality and price point, I'm sorry, for a certain quality level, like, and I know Mondo has that based on what they've done before. Obviously, this is something new. It does have kind of a Storm Collectibles build with the underframe and the squishy torso and all that stuff. But I trust what they've done, and I've seen what they've done, and I'm just like, at the very least, I'm with you. I gotta at least get He-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And they're scaled right. I traffic in bigger figures, Mythic Legions, Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, even like some of the third-party Warcraft stuff, Masterverse, right? So these are like that, and Storm Collectibles, which tend to be bigger. And he looks great. Like, they managed to really give him a unique look that's actually not the toys from that era, from 2000X, or even the cartoon. It's this like, it's just like their Mondo 1/6. They created a look for He-Man, and it looks really good. If we know that that's not something that even Mattel, they struggle with it, and I'm being nice, but
yeah, we won't talk about that Thunder Punch He-Man Masterverse.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, they're also charging us $25 ish, right?
Right.
So like, I acknowledge that this is kind of more in the 10 types of figures and level of stuff that I do tend to get a lot of. Like Mythic Legions is not a cheap line, but there's a lot that comes with it, right? As far as like quality paint design. So these look really good. I'm in for it. I don't know yet that I will necessarily get Clawful. I think it looks fantastic. But
it does look really, really cool. Seeing him, in person, there's always that weird feeling. With Snake Lair, same thing. If I hadn't seen Snake Lair in person, I probably wouldn't have been like, I gotta have it. And seeing him in person, it's like, I really want it. I really do. But I think I'm going to reserve to He-Man for now.
And I get that. And I just caught this. I'd never really realized that this also looks like a tail, like a lobster tail.
Oh, yeah. It's like a lobster tail. Yeah.
What's interesting, though, I find myself with Masters of the Universe doing this. Like at first, I was just excited to have. I mainly do Masterverse. I love Masterverse, so I was getting it all and just really excited. And I kept telling myself, "Do I really need multiple of XYZ character?" But then they're just like, "Okay, well, here's a new Eternian Skeletor. Oh, okay, yeah, no, I gotta try that. Here's a classic looking Skeletor from the 40th anniversary package. Okay, got it." And then they're like, new Eternian, New Adventures. I was like, hell yes. Like, okay, cool. And so then I found myself with a bunch of Skeletors, with a bunch of Beastmen. And so now I'm like, man, I've got a Clawful. And then this one. So it's just this funny thing of where I tell myself, do I really need it? And then, and plus, times have changed. Economically, things are weird. So we'll see. But I think he's great, and I'm so happy these are being made. This guy
looks amazing too. Skeletor too. I'm sure I'm going to have to get Skeletor. Like, if you get He-Man, you have to have Skeletor, right? So
yeah,
I'm probably going to be getting those two, but I'm gonna have some willpower and hold to those. But
I get you, man.
Arms look so good. The Mondo's doing amazing work. I got to actually meet the gentleman Tommy, who's one of the designers of the
Tommy Hodges.
figures. Yeah, he's super nice guy. Amazing work.
Well, this just came out when we're recording it, and so who knows? I don't know if maybe by Sunday's show these will be pre-ordered, but maybe more likely next week. I don't know. Have you heard anything about when these might?
A lot of people were saying Tuesday, but I don't know if that's official or not. But I've heard from the MOTU community, a lot of people are thinking Tuesday.
Okay.
So that's kind of Mondo's kind of go is Tuesdays.
And shout out to MOTU Origins Cork, great dude. And he's like, name your price, but make it gentle, especially for folks like him who are not here in the United States, which it becomes an even additional cost to get stuff. So we shall see. Let's shift a little to my bread and butter MOTU line at the moment, and I don't know why these all ended up like that. That's interesting. But this guy, wait, let me figure that out. What's going on here?
Yeah, did you pick him up?
I did not. So I love Masterverse, but I actually have a genuine dilemma right now with getting a bunch of figures because there's so much happening, as we'll see towards the end of what I'd love to see today. But I love Masterverse. I think where I'm at is like, man, I just know where I'm at with Masters Universe. I know that there's a finite amount of characters, and it's not a small number.
Yep.
And getting multiples at this time becomes a challenge, especially when they end up doing things like this is a $35 figure. And again, I'm not averse to, I've got a lot of looking at some figures that are more than $35. But I have a Mossman, right? Yeah. Multiple, but like I have a mouse. Do I need a other one? Even though I know this one's fantastic, and people are like, "Yo, it's very Sasquatch. It's all of that." And I was like, "Yeah," but I literally have a pre-order of a Sasquatch from Loose Collector coming in, and I love Odious. Like I've got all this stuff, and I just need to balance. So I'm genuinely struggling at the moment. I've held off. How about you?
Same. This obviously came out after Snake Lair, so this was my first pass. I'm not a big Masterverse collector. I cherry pick, and when I see them on clearance, I'm picking them up. Certain key characters I will, obviously, like when He-Man and Skeletor first dropped, I got those ones. They were like the Revelation. But I slowed down, and then same thing, New Eternia, and of course, the vintage one.
Yeah,
something about this, the red and the blue, that speaks to me.
Couldn't resist.
That's kind of what hit me with Origins and why I collect Origins. If I'm being honest, it's the closest thing to vintage, and if you follow me, you'll see I'm a big vintage collector. It's that red rock with the blue. It triggers something in my head where I'm like, I gotta have it. So that's, with classics, when classics came out, I didn't collect classics. It just didn't speak to me that way. I really appreciate it, and I love the way the figures look, but it didn't hit my nostalgia brain the way that Origins did. But yeah, I do. I have the Cyclone. I don't have Mossman. I don't have Randor. And I have a lot of the bad guys. I got Too Bad. I have Webster.
You got a web store. See, I missed out on web store.
And at the time, I didn't realize now he's worth a lot. He's hard to find
because he was hard to find at the time. And now
Whiplash was like so bulky. I'm like, I gotta have the big bulky guy. So I have a lot of the
that's cool.
I picked up a Battle Cat for like $10 at Ross. So
of course, like I have two just because of that reason. I'm like, I gotta have one. But
so of course, when I see them on clearance, I'll pick them up. But I'm a Masterverse cherry picker.
Yeah, and I get that, and I'm definitely drawn to him. I think the head sculpt is fantastic. It's easily like there's a bunch of really great things happening in Masterverse. I know they get a lot of flack for some of the likenesses and the faces, but they've got a lot of great ones too. And I actually really love Cyclone. I'm not into Randor Action, completely skipped him. But I think he looks fantastic. I like the first one too.
Wish he was flocked.
Flocked? You prefer the flock? So yeah, I get it. That's that vintage love, right?
Yeah, right.
I get it. I actually was okay with the original Mossman and was intrigued by it. I just felt like there's a lot of great sculpted detail that just gets lost because of the lack of paint. But anyway, I think this is a cool figure. Honestly, there's a strong chance I might still end up getting him at some point. He's still available. He is a Mattel Creations only figure. But right now I'm holding strong, and we shall see. Now, a couple of other things have been revealed recently. See, this is the other problem is I know there's good things coming. I don't have a Mosquitor. So like this is one that I'm definitely getting hands down, no problem, because I don't have him. I think he's rad. I love what they did with the wings. So they revealed the packaging art, and again, shout out to our friends over at Toy Habits who posted this, and I'm really liking a lot of the new Horde figures in particular. Leech is great. It's such a cool body. So I'm totally down for this. And of course, Mantena down here, I can't wait for. Even though I gotta say the Mantena Classics is like one of my favorite figures in my collection. And I was like, they're never gonna make another. I love the design of that face and everything, but I was like, okay, this one looks pretty damn good.
they did a pretty good job, huh?
So anyway, this stuff looks really great, man. I'm totally into what they've got going on. The packaging art, so good, and this is the stuff from SDCC.
Yeah, I saw him at San Diego Comic-Con. He looked amazing. Thought it was really cool. You can change out his little nose spout thing into something else.
Yep, and like replace it with this kind of mosquito tongue.
Yep.
Or fly tongue, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's cool. And you know, the more and more I look at these, like sort of noticing like all the new parts that are kind of creeping in, and we're at a point where, you know, I still technically am doing this show with Kenzo called Into the Masterverse, but man, editing is a beast. I'm still trying to figure out the footage. That said, I'm very much into Masterverse. And I think we're at this point because one of the earliest things that he and I did, like this is over a year and a half ago, was go by the numbers and see how many characters have been made, how many, and we're like, at that time, there's actually quite a bit. And it's going to be pretty soon where it's going to get past some of these other legacy lines that have come out that people love. And that's not to say it's better or anything, but it's just more to say like, why fight it? It's here. Like, I love it. So I think it's worth celebrating. And then if you're like, oh, those aren't good enough, you got Mondo coming.
Right.
This guy looks cool. I love what they did with like his helmet, kind of a different take.
Yes. Do you have the shot of him at San Diego Comic-Con?
Yep. So this is all from Toy Habits, and they have that there too. But I just definitely wanted to show all of this.
Yeah.
It's funny to me, like.
Oh, actually, there you go on the back of the thing right there with the shield.
The
shield.
Yep.
He collects all the swords of the different He-Men throughout the different universes.
Mm-hmm.
That was such a cool little detail to be able to do that.
Yep.
And if you look really closely, he actually has the New Adventures He-Man. So he already defeated New Adventures He-Man in this lore that he's in there.
Yep. Yeah, it's funny. I remember seeing that sword, but that's not this sword, and that's not this sword. But it is right there. So he's coming with what, 3 different swords?
Mm-hmm.
Here, let's take a look at those figures. The packaging art looks great. Unfortunately, I haven't clocked who exactly is doing it. What I was going to say, this head, I guess we'll see it in the figure. It's another He-Man head, and it actually looks pretty good on this version. It kind of is it Flying Fist? Did you happen to figure out if it's a reused head from another He-Man, or they did do a new thing?
Flying Fist, I'm not sure. So the Thunder Punch was Faker's head.
Oh, yeah.
And it looked really, and everyone loved it as Faker. They're like, oh, it looks so great. And then for some reason, it just did not hit right. As
the makeup wasn't right.
The makeup,
the rouge.
Well. I bet So like this one, because it's, anti-Eternian, it's the black with the red. For some reason, I'm sure you do the flesh with the. But this is really, it's a better face for sure.
I think it is. And, I realize, of course, it is actually new because we don't have one that at least currently has removable hair.
Right.
I think that's a fair sign that it's a new one, although I guess you could just sort of unglue it. But there's that new Eternia sword. I'm sorry, the new Adventure sword. The shield is dope. I love that. They're working in all the different angles and stuff, and that's a tease.
Right.
All right. I know you've got limited time. Do you think you've got about 10 minutes to kind of talk about non-He-Man
let's keep
stuff?
Going. We can do some a little bit longer.
Okay. So let's shift a little. You've mentioned the 4 Horsemen because they clearly have they have a lot of connections with MOTU.
I mean, they did the 2000X line.
Yep.
They did a lot of work with classics.
Yep.
They
shepherded it through
with MOTU history for sure.
Yep,
and
they shepherded
even right now with Legions, there's those MOTU inspired mythic legions that I definitely.
And where those were first available, right?
PowerCon.
Yep.
I should have bought like 4 of them back then because now they're crazy money.
Literally today, while we're recording a couple of hours ago, I watched Jeremy Gerard and Eric Treadaway from the 4 Horsemen on the Mythic Customs channel talking about their new line. Again, so many lines. They announced this back in November at the last Legions Con that there was going to be this thing called the Legacies of Mythoss, which is basically an opportunity to go back and redo existing figures and kind of give them an update. This is Otho. He is one of like the first figures ever made and one of the most hard to get characters.
Okay.
And so they are now in this mode of like going back and doing what they call 2.0 versions of those characters and making them not exactly the same. Like this is like him throughout different periods in his life. So there's different armors that you can show and stuff. But, you know, I love Masters of the Universe, and I love a lot of things with swords and armor and stuff. And I love this line so much. And this is pretty exciting.
Looking, right?
Yeah. Different heads. So this is like kind of a younger Otho that you can make. This is him later with different armor and that sort of lion helmet head.
Nice.
It's just really cool. Like, you've got this like 3 different heads, different face plates. I think they make great figures, and it was just a news thing that popped up. You were saying that it looks kind of cool, and I don't know. What do you think? What do you think of this specific figure and Legions in general? I know you're kind of
Legions is awesome. You know, I try to stick to this MOTU IP, but you know, if I had endless money, I definitely would be picking up Mythic Legions as well. The amount of detail and stuff in these is insane. I saw their booth at San Diego Comic-Con. I actually helped friend of ours, Oz, pick up a Paladin.
Nice.
And I even looking at that figure, I was like, man, that's awesome. Like the little feathered little thing going on there.
Yep.
But yeah, this guy, I mean, looks like he belongs at the what is it? King Arthur's court right there. Right?
Sure. Yeah. I love it. Bringing that melon into King Arthur's court and get the dope locks and everything. Otho's great. And again, this is giving people a chance to pick up a figure that most of us can't have. And I would say, because, you know, like a lot of folks are like, how do I get into Legions? I was like, don't go backwards. Just wait. No, because just like every other company, they get better and better at what they do.
Yeah.
You know, don't feel that pressure unless you've got, you know, foil prints money. Do what you want to do. But like, honestly, you're going to be spending less moving forward, and you're going to be getting some of the best figures so that they've ever done. That's just the nature of the game.
Good advice.
So he's great. And so this is also a chance for Nate Barch, He-Man.org, of He-Man.org fame, of Green Goddess fame and all of that, gets a chance to flex his art muscles and do some more portraiture of that. They've approached this sort of line since it's sort of like bringing new versions and of an existing character, like, oh, well, let's do portraits. And I think it's great stuff.
Yeah.
And then there is the second one that was a surprise today. So they said, okay, it's a 2-figure wave that we're making available. And this is one of their first orcs. He is sort of effectively the second in command of one of the you know, bad guys. Effectively, there's like 4 bad guy armies. This is sort of what becomes the second in command. But this is all updated, just like Otho. Otho, like, he had soft goods and stuff. The original didn't have that. Pretty much, those were like first wave figures, and they were just like He-Man, reusing a bunch of the same parts. Now they're like, we've done it. We've got a huge library of parts, and we can make more, and we're doing soft goods and all this. So they're doing the same with him. All like new swords, a lot of new armor, these belt pieces, pauldrons. So, I mean, 4 Horsemen, I love to see folks who started at McFarlane, did some great figures with them and with Mattel, and sculpted a bunch of stuff for Super 7, getting to do their own thing and build their own thing. 10-year-old line, most people don't realize. To a lot of people, it's brand new. And they are now moving into the world where they're giving multiple heads with more emotive heads. A lot of them tended to be kind of one stoic kind of portrait. This dude looks like a beast, like an orc should.
Right out of like some Lord of the Rings or World of Warcraft right there.
Here's the other portrait.
Do they have other media for this? Like, is there, you know, I never even looked. Is there comics or?
There was an existing graphic novel that they sort of say is not quite canon. Jeremy Gerard, who is their marketing director, is the keeper of the lore now and is actually putting out an actual book. That is going to be sort of modeled. Have you ever seen those Harry Potter books at Target that are illustrated? You ever seen? I don't know if you ever seen that. Okay, they're bigger. The original Harry Potter books were just, you know, the text, but this is like they worked with an artist to kind of do more illustrated stuff throughout, and that's what they're they're modeling for it. So it'll be kind of it'll imagery with art by I believe Nate Barch and David Williams will be doing art. So it's going to be beautiful, as well as the story being told by Jeremy. But
very cool.
I mean, we're getting multiple portraits. Again, this is one of those things that was kind of a surprise today. I will say this, if you're a Legions collector, they are hitting us hard with all sorts of new great toys. The reality is you don't have to buy it all. So I'm not complaining, but it's a lot. And so this came out of nowhere. For folks who want more of like a quote unquote news, the news is it's going to kick off. Is it this Monday, the 15th at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific? It'll be an in-stock sale. So you order it and it'll be in stock. They have a limited number at the studio right now. So they'll ship those out. And then it's a hybrid thing. Normally it's one or the other, in stock and then it's gone, or pre-order. And then they take as many as they have, and then they make enough, and then they hope they have extras or whatever. They're doing both. So they ordered a small amount that's ready to go. Sale starts Monday. Once those sell out, then they're going to start up. I forget the exact date, but for a good month, I believe they'll have pre-orders for it as well. The only difference being that if you're ordering in stock, you have to get both figures at the same time. It's not cheap. $55 figures times 2 is $110. But if you're, for the hardcore fans, they're like, cool, give it to me soon, and I'm buying them anyway. And then if you only want a single, just wait. The pre-orders will be there. You'll pre-order it. You'll wait till those ship, and you can get them. So just a little bit of Horsemen news. More of the
those
portraits.
look like they're worth more than $55.
It's crazy, right?
It's really amazing, the detail and the amount of stuff, like the heads and the weapons and all the extra hands that you're getting for $55 it's a pretty good deal.
And shout out to Trevor for these photos. They're fantastic. Let's do a little bit of a lightning round. This is a wolf.
Wow.
Right? So like we got Battle Cat, but there's a lot of these crazy companies now. Fish Toys, who used to go by a different name. I think they were called D20.
Does it actually do that, or is this just the lighting?
This is a UV. So it's UV light reactive. Yep. It's UV light reactive. It's not electric. It's not LED or anything. But yes, so this is a wolf that's actually been around, but this is a repaint to look like sort of lava to go with the, well, here's the wolf again, to go with these orcs. So these orcs by Medi Toys fit well on these things. They're meant to be sort of like unlicensed World of Warcraft stuff. But this is some Eternian beasts, man. This is some stuff that Skeletor's messing with,
Easily see Skeletor on top of that guy.
You've got like all the removable armor and stuff. They're really, really beautiful figures. And it's not incredibly articulated, but it moves a little bit better than Battle Cat Masterverse for sure. And the sculpt is great. I have my gray one next to my Masterverse Battle Cat, and he looks great. But if you're wondering who this was meant for, it's for this guy here that is one of those not World of Warcraft, but looks a lot like World of Warcraft characters. He's got a beautiful paint job. I just wanted to share this for the folks who follow the show and they've seen me talk about this. Clearly, this is from Aki Lion on Instagram. Usually he gets stuff a little bit earlier in Asia. And that means it's ready to go. It's in people's hands, as well as these two lions that I've talked about before. But but yeah, here he is. And I've got him on pre-order.
Nice. Okay.
So I'm waiting for him to come in, which is part of the reason. So it's not really because Mossman is bad at all. It's because I've gotten way too many other good toys on the way. He looks dope. I'm not getting that version of the wolf, but I thought it was cool. And this is another one that's coming and like, so, Masters of the Universe. I know we're going to have this MOTUNIVERSE thing happening, but like you said, there could be other stuff there. And I'm sure some of your vendors will have all sorts of stuff. So, yeah.
Oh yeah. We would love to have, again, would love if 4 Horsemen could show up and you have some Legions presence there. Would love. Yes. Who's
if they don't,
the AWOC, right?
Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. Like I will go. I will table for Animal Wars. I've done that here on the West Coast before, and
there you go.
help set up the Mythic meetup. So I do that. I'll make sure that we are there. I actually will work and make sure that someone from the studio or toys from Four Horsemen, they can't sometimes make it, but they'll ship it, and then they'll work with like what do they call them? Street team. Okay. To work it. And I will definitely, like, I helped organize the one up here in Sacramento. I'm trying to work a similar deal here in the Bay Area where the Four Horsemen will have a street team event, and Animal Wars of the Kingdom and more indie toys. Absolutely, it has to be there. It just makes sense. But I bet you, because it's so MOTU heavy, I suggest you try to reach out to the studio to see if anybody would want to come, both to event, but also speak or maybe do a panel or something about 2000X or
100%
or whatever. So just to throw that out there. Okay.
We want to get voice actors, maybe reunion kind of thing going. You know?
Amazing.
There's all kinds of ideas being thrown out, man. I'm telling you.
It's gonna be great.
Right.
Check this out. This is Fury Toys. They are doing these tiger mounts. Can you imagine if they did a version that was green? They're doing a version that's green with purplish armor, but it looks really great. This is just sort of showing that, you know, it's in production now, but here you go. I guarantee you this one will move beautifully.
Is that not Battle Cat or what?
It is not Battle Cat. Yeah, it's definitely not Battle Cat.
Not Battle Cat.
A wink. But check it out. Like, there's a lion version. You can do some big gym action. There's a snow tiger kind of thing. There's this, I don't know where that tiger came from, but you get a sense here of sort of the size of this thing.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay.
This is one. There you go. Here's the actual measurements. 18 centimeters is roughly 7 inches. I want to say it's actually a little over that. It's 7 inches. And so, it's a big thing. This is one that I will definitely get. My struggle is, do I get a tiger version? Do I, like, right now I'm actually looking at these two as my options.
Okay.
And so it's stupid, man. Like, I got a Battle Cat. Why am I doing that? But it's because we are who we are, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. You got me considering it. I'm like, damn, that's a really badass looking. I mean, it's Battle Cat, honestly. Yeah. But it's not. I know, but that's badass looking.
But it's one of the best looking Battle Cat like things we'll get.
They're pricing.
I love the Masterverse one. What's that? It's in production right now. Yeah, so these are all like showing that the test samples are done. They're moving into full production, and these are on their way. They haven't even put these up for pre-order. So, but they clearly have, like, it's moving. So,
got it.
All right, couple more, man. This is Savage Crucible. Just want to throw that out there for the MOTU heads, and just note, like, there's a bunch of other toy lines. These are also guys who I know might be interested in coming to a MOTUNIVERSE show. But these are exclusives that they're doing for a Asian show, Wonderfest, and just it popped up. I wanted to share with the folks that look for this kind of stuff on the channel that this is happening. Really great figures, really well articulated. Have you ever checked out any of these?
I have not.
Figures?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
They are really great. They scale perfectly with, you know, my Legions and my Masterverse. Oops, there it is. Great looking figures and really posable, highly posable, butterfly, the whole nine. Nice. So they're using that body for these exclusives. File that away because there's something that will end with that is related to this. But for folks curious, check out these, you know, look for them if you're like a completist. Good luck hunting for the Asian Wonderfest exclusives using Savage Crucible bodies. Okay, I mentioned part of my Moss Man decision is that I have a Sasquatch available, and that's by this company, Loose Collector. This is one of their figures. I don't know why they didn't actually show. They have a wolf figure and everything. These are some other figures that they're just kind of comparing. This is a Zezre. This is a Memory Toys. That is a Marvel Legends. Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure. That might be Diamond Select, but it looks like the Anniversary Marvel Legends. And then this is Odious. These are big figures. Like this guy, I don't have my Minotaurs here anymore, but the Minotaurs are about this size, which is close to 8.5 inches. Matt Rodriguez, He-Man.org, bringing it all back. So that figure that they're sort of saying will be their Cthulhu, they're just saying this is something that we're working on. A gigantic Cthulhu of Lovecraftian fame. They're still working on it. This is like not a full reveal, and it gives you some sense of but like these companies are doing some wild things. Like Four Horsemen did their Beathir dragon.
That looks what were those ones in the 80s? There was like that skull. Had the
humanoids.
The humanoids. Yes. Inhumanoids. Yeah. Yes. Looks like on that scale, huh?
So it is huge. It's looking like a Sentinel. Maybe just below a Galactus. This is going to be huge for Loose Collector. Just wanted to share with folks, like if they missed this news, this came out this week. They're working to reveal it in 2026, but I just think they want to let people know they've got this big project. They know that a lot of people are waiting for a good Cthulhu figure. So that's all. Just and be prepared. Loose Collector stuff is not cheap, but we'll see. Okay, let's end with some customs. This is a Savage Crucible figure that has been repainted to be Warduke. So It's a custom. NECA did theirs, and this is Stronox, who does amazing customs. But he's like, the NECA one looks good, but it doesn't have the posability I want. So this is part of this era, right? This didn't happen in the same way when we were collecting vintage.
Right.
These are folks who are like, I have a vision, I have this thing that I love, and I'm going to make it now using existing stuff. And because the market is so filled with great things like Savage Crucible and all these other things I've been showing, they can do that. They have like the materials. A lot of four Horsemen people, are doing Four Horsemen customs. I think this is really cool, man. Were you big into the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon back in the day?
The cartoon, yes. Didn't ever play it as a kid. Had some cousins that were really into it and playing and everything. But myself, I did enjoy the cartoon. Love Warduke. He's awesome looking. And
feel like he's just right there, like want to hang out with a Skeletor, with a Hordak,
right.
Causing
he's
problems in Eternian.
Definitely an 80s icon villain for sure.
Yeah. He's like, I only need to protect half my body. I'm that good. And then He-Man's like, armor, weak. But still cool. And I'm hoping that maybe at MOTUNIVERSE we'll see customizers and we'll see people bringing all their cool stuff, because we know there's a lot of folks who do
being thrown out. Customizer panel with some of the best customizers out there.
That would be awesome. Here's another sort of sword fantasy type thing, but it's actually from the Marvel Universe. Ilyana Rasputin is one of my favorite characters. Dark Child. She can travel to limbo and holds dominion over demons while also being a mutant in our world. But there's a custom version of her, all based on Marvel Legends Warbird. So it's still a Marvel Legends body. I just love to look at this stuff because two things. One, we've got a lot of talent in the toy community and a lot of love for these things. And when they're like, it's not that they're necessarily hating on the figures that exist, but they like have a different vision and they make it happen. And I think it's crazy. Like people can do this kind of stuff. And I think it only helps ratchet up the demand for quality in some ways. You know what I mean? Or even the demand for more figures of this character. Because
some of the best figures I've seen of MOTU have been customs done by the community.
Yep.
Of course, I'm like blanking on his name now, but some of these 3D prints that are coming out are literally fixing the head sculpts of, we complained about He-Man's head sculpt earlier.
Yep.
Some of these customizers, myself included, I have a Hordak MX for my Masterverse.
Me too. Most of my He-Mans are Hordak MX.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's all right. It's a little guy.
I know. It's like, the resin. But at the end of the day, they're great looking, and that gives us an option. And we're still buying, the Mattel figure, and I'm assuming this is no secret, but I paid more for my Hordak MX heads, way more than the figures.
That's
So,
right.
but, and hopefully, hey, Mattel, just step it up just a little bit. People will hate me for saying this, but even if you charge me $5 for a figure that is like perfect head to toe, then I actually might be happier than kind of getting a figure that, even though it was like $25, but I'm like, oh, it's not quite. It's just some ideas. It'd be great if you did it, even if you didn't, raise the price. But anyway, man. Hey, I
do gotta get going here, Brick. So
yeah, of course. I appreciate you for coming on the show and making this happen. I'm really excited for MOTUNIVERSE, man. I think it's really cool. It's a really cool effort. And so we should just keep following you on Instagram.
Yes, give me a follow. You can follow me, subscribe on YouTube. I will be posting updates kind of as more things become solidified.
Okay.
I actually secured a MOTUNIVERSE channel also on YouTube. So once we kind of get closer to the show, maybe that'll become my YouTube, because I said, right, I just like, I'm dead in the water. But with MOTUNIVERSE, obviously there'll be content to just keep pumping out.
That's right.
And definitely give Mega J a follow if you don't already. He's going to be right there with me posting all sorts of updates as well.
Love it, man. All right. So we're going to look out for the Kickstarter first. We're going to support so that they have the funds to make this thing happen, because they need the capital. They're not rich dudes. But they're going to, put in all the sweat equity needed to make this thing happen. And then we look out for the convention itself. And tell folks, like, if you're a MOTU fan, let folks know that this is happening, because this is a fan effort. So let's make it happen. All right, Mikey. Thank you so much again, man. Again, folks, that QR code, that's over there, or that's coming up the URL. You can get like Mikey's information, all the stuff, to the Mega J videos, to the Eternian 4, all that stuff will be there. Hey, man, thank you very much. Appreciate everybody who's watching during the live stream and on the replay. Hit the like and do all those things. We have the power. MOTUNIVERSE, MOTUNIVERSE, MOTUNIVERSE. All right, man. Thank you very much. You're going to play some music and say goodbye. Bye, folks.
Bye.
Much. I just kind of like to play. It's this weird, awkward thing where I talk over the ending, and I don't know. Sometimes it's cute. Sometimes it's not. Bye, folks. Have a great week.